I want to talk briefly about two materials, Velcro and Teflon. And contrary to what you might assume, this won't be about shoes or cookware. In recent days, one of my most trusted teachers again pointed me to the research of psychologist Rick Hanson. Dr. Hanson writes of our collective tendency to hold on to negative thoughts in our minds as though they are lined with Velcro, and to let go of positive thoughts as though they are lined with Teflon. In short, we let the bad stuff stick to our minds and we quickly forget the good stuff. I suspect this largely jives with your lived experience, as it certainly does with mine. This concept has long felt significant to me, but even more so in a time of global pandemic and national quarantine. I suspect this is why you hear so many of us on social media condemning others for panicking, yet almost no one you know is in an ongoing state of panic, though most of us have surely had our moments, right? It only takes us seeing a few examples of something that we perceive as panic for us to jump to conclusions and assume everyone is panicking. I suspect this is also why it's easy for us to lament the things that we're missing out on, yet comparatively difficult to express gratitude for all the good and new things that many of us are experiencing as a result of these unique circumstances. Simply put, it's more natural for us to count the losses of social distancing than it is for us to be thankful for the opportunities that it affords us. So why am I talking about Velcro and Teflon? What could this mean for my life and your life and the life of all of us? It is always important to ground ourselves in what is good, beautiful, and true. But I am inclined to think that right now, the cost of not doing that is as high as it's ever been. Depending on how long this goes in the final tally of human lives, I think there's a non-zero chance that most of us will need trauma therapy to process COVID-19 and the related fallout. Even if most of us think we are doing just fine right now, the emotional cost of being cooped up for weeks, the economic losses, and certainly the bereavement are things we're all going to have to reckon with, even if we avoid some of the macro level worst case scenarios. So how do we minimize our tendency to Velcro the negative? How do we fixate more on the life-giving positive things so that they don't just slide off of our brains like Teflon? I would encourage you to recommit yourself to those habits and practices that center your heart and mind on what is good, beautiful, and true. For me right now, that includes daily prayer, that includes reading really good books, and that includes memorizing Jesus' Sermon on the Mount for Matthew chapter 5, 6, and 7. It also includes devoting significant energy to playing with my kids. It includes taking a few minutes to sincerely tell people how they have blessed me. And it involves setting aside some time for video calls, Zoom, or phone conversations with people that don't live under my same roof. So if you already have such habits and practices in mind for yourself, I would encourage you to write them down and seek out creative ways to incorporate them into your life to the fullest extent that is possible in your current circumstances. And if you aren't sure yet what habits and practices tend to center your heart and mind on what is good, beautiful, and true, I think it's worth both thinking about what those might be and then experimenting until you can find what works best for you in your present reality. The overwhelming majority of us are going to be fortunate enough to physically survive this pandemic. But what we do today is going to have a major impact on how emotionally and spiritually strong we are on the other side of it. Let's all be well, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Grace and peace to all of you, my friends.